Kenny Rogers was a name that resonated with millions of fans around the world. A man whose soulful voice could make hearts ache and smiles bloom at the same time. Born in Houston, Texas, on August 21st, 1938, Kenny entered a world that was far from easy. He was the fourth of 8 children, and his family struggled to make ends meet in a post-Depression America. His mother, Lucille, worked as a nurse's assistant, while his father, Edward, was a carpenter. Though the family was financially poor, Kenny's parents instilled in him a sense of resilience and determination. He often recalled that their home was in a government housing project meant for white families, replacing homes previously occupied by families of color. Life was difficult, and Kenny had to grow up fast, taking on odd jobs such as sweeping floors in a hat shop and working as a busboy at a hotel to help support the family. Despite these challenges, Kenny's talent began to emerge at a young age. In 1949, he won a talent show at the Texan Theater, one of the first signs that music could become more than just a hobby for him. Even with hunger, scarcity, and poverty surrounding him, Kenny never let these hardships define him. He often spoke about how he didn't complain because he saw many children around him living in similar circumstances. His humble beginnings shaped the man he became, and he never forgot the struggles that once defined his daily life. Kenny learned from an early age the value of hard work, empathy, and humility, lessons that would guide him through decades of fame, heartbreak, and triumph. That Kenny's childhood was also marked by complicated family dynamics. His father struggled with alcoholism, a burden that left lasting emotional scars on Kenny and his siblings. In his 2012 book, Luck or Something Like It, Kenny revealed that he avoided alcohol all his life, not just from personal choice, but from a deep fear of following in his father's footsteps. The presence of addiction in his home taught him empathy and patience, shaping the way he related to others later in life. Despite this, his family was close-knit, and faith played a crucial role in helping them survive the darkest moments. Kenny's siblings often recalled the importance of their shared beliefs and support system, even with adversity surrounding him. Kenny's early environment instilled in him a deep sense of responsibility, compassion, and a drive to pursue his dreams no matter the obstacles. These lessons carried over to his adult life, influencing how he treated fans, friends, and even strangers who once helped his family during difficult times. He never lost touch with the values he learned growing up in Houston, and that humility became part of the foundation of his global appeal. As Kenny grew older, he began pursuing music seriously. In the late 1950s, he started taking small steps toward a professional career. His first solo record, That Crazy Feeling, gained some attention in 1957, but initial success was fleeting. Kenny persisted, joining jazz groups like the Bobby Doyle Three and later the New Christy Minstrels. He honed his craft, performing in clubs and writing music for other artists. In 1967, he co-founded a group called The First Edition, which brought him his first real breakthrough. Hits like Just Dropped In, To See What Condition My Condition Was In, and Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town began to define Kenny's sound and show off his unique voice. These early successes set the stage for his solo career, but it wasn't an easy journey. By the mid-1970s, record labels often told him he was too old for country music, a rejection that could have ended a lesser artist's career. Instead, Kenny remained determined, working tirelessly in small venues, refining his style, and waiting for the right opportunity. His patience paid off when he teamed up with producer Larry Butler and released Lucille, a song that became a massive hit and earned him a Grammy Award. That success opened the door for more chart-topping hits and cemented his status as a music legend. Kenny Rogers' solo career skyrocketed after Lucille. He became a crossover star, excelling in both country and pop music, earning numerous awards and accolades. Hits like Lady, Islands in the Stream, and The Gambler defined a generation and showcased his versatility. The Gambler, in particular, became iconic, inspiring a series of television films in which Kenny starred, further expanding his reach beyond music. Albums like The Gambler and Kenny are considered among the most influential country albums of all time. In addition to his music, Kenny dabbled in acting and business, co-founding Kenny Rogers Roasters, a restaurant chain that initially struggled in the United States but gained popularity in Asia. Despite occasional setbacks, including lawsuits and the eventual bankruptcy of his restaurant chain, Kenny's determination and talent never wavered. He continued to tour, record, and captivate audiences well into his later years, demonstrating the resilience and drive that had characterized him since childhood. While Kenny's career soared, his personal life was filled with both love and challenges. He was married 5 times and had 5 children. His early marriages often ended in heartbreak, a combination of personal choices and the demands of a relentless music career. Kenny spoke openly about his regrets, noting in his autobiography that being driven and focused on his music sometimes came at the expense of his family. Later in life, he found enduring love with his 5th wife, Wanda Miller, who was 28 years his junior. Together, they had twin sons, and Kenny cherished the opportunity to be a present father in his later years. He often reflected on the joys and regrets of parenting, acknowledging that he had missed parts of his older children's lives due to his career. Yet, he embraced the role of fatherhood with Wanda's children, finding happiness in watching them grow and supporting them through every milestone. These personal reflections added depth to his public persona, showing fans that behind the music legend was a man capable of love, regret, and growth. Even in the face of fame, Kenny remained generous and connected to his roots. Stories of his kindness abound, including helping a former neighbor who once assisted his family, sending her $20,000 after she had struggled to repair her car. He maintained lifelong friendships, including with Dolly Parton, who shared similar hardships in her early life. Kenny's empathy extended to colleagues, friends, and fans alike. His sister Sandy recounted how he always included family in his life, bringing them to concerts, involving them in music projects, and treating them with love and respect. Even small, playful anecdotes, like drinking milk straight from a jug or joking about royalties with his siblings, humanized the star and reminded everyone that despite his fame, Kenny remained grounded and approachable. In the 2010s, Kenny faced new challenges. He fought for fair compensation from digital music sales, filing a lawsuit against Capitol Records over unpaid royalties. This legal battle revealed that even legends are not immune to the struggles of the modern music industry. Kenny also began to slow down professionally, retiring in 2017 after a farewell tour. Health issues forced him to cut short performances in his final years, but he continued to engage with family, reflect on his life, and find comfort in small joys, such as caring for his pet goat, Smitty, at his estate in Georgia. These quieter moments illustrated a man who had achieved incredible success yet valued peace, family, and personal fulfillment above all else. Kenny Rogers passed away on March 20th, 2020, at the age of 81, surrounded by his wife Wanda and his children. His family announced his death with a message honoring his legacy and expressing their deep grief and gratitude for fan support. Tributes poured in from friends, fellow musicians, and admirers worldwide, celebrating the life of a man whose music, generosity, and character touched countless hearts. Lionel Richie, among others, honored Kenny during the 2021 Grammy Awards in the In Memoriam segment, reminding audiences of the timeless impact of his songs. Kenny's life, while filled with struggle and loss, left an indelible mark on music history and the lives of those who knew him personally and professionally. Kenny Rogers' story is not just one of success and fame, but also of resilience, empathy, and the enduring power of music. From humble beginnings in Houston to global stardom, from personal heartbreak to moments of deep connection, his journey shows how talent, hard work, and a generous heart can leave a legacy that outlives even the most challenging trials. His songs remain a soundtrack for countless lives. His stories continue to inspire, and his influence on music and culture will be remembered for generations. For fans, the lessons of Kenny Rogers' life are clear. Pursue your passions, remain humble, and cherish the people who make life meaningful. His final days, filled with family, reflection, and quiet moments, serve as a reminder that even legends are human, and that love, kindness, and music are the true measures of a life well lived. Kenny Rogers was a name that resonated with millions of fans around the world, a man whose soulful voice could make hearts ache and smiles bloom at the same time. Born on August 21st, 1938, in Houston, Texas, Kenny entered a world that was far from easy. He was the 4th of 8 children in a family that struggled to make ends meet in the wake of the Great Depression and World War II. His mother, Lucille, worked as a nurse's assistant, while his father, Edward, was a carpenter. Despite their hard work, the family often faced financial difficulties. They lived in a government housing project originally designed for white families, which had displaced families of color, highlighting the inequalities of the time. These early experiences instilled in Kenny a sense of resilience and determination that will remain with him throughout his life. Even as a young boy, Kenny was acutely aware of hardship. Though he rarely went without food, he often experienced nutritional deprivation, surviving on simple meals like peanut butter sandwiches. He worked odd jobs to help his family, sweeping floors in a hat shop for just $9 a week and serving as a busboy at the Rice Hotel. At the same time, music was already calling to him. In 1949, he won a talent show at the Texan Theater, one of his earliest public recognitions. Kenny's childhood was not only a story of poverty, but also of perseverance, humility, and quiet ambition. These formative years taught him that success was not guaranteed, and that every opportunity had to be earned. They also shaped the kind of man he would become: compassionate, generous, and deeply connected to the people around him. Family life was complicated. Kenny's father struggled with alcoholism, which left emotional scars on a young boy. In his autobiography, Luck or Something Like It, Kenny reflected on how this affected him. He never touched alcohol himself, not out of moralizing, but from a genuine fear that he might follow in his father's footsteps. Kenny's early environment also instilled empathy and patience, qualities he would use later in life to understand the struggles of others, whether they were dealing with addiction or personal hardship. Despite the challenges, Kenny's family maintained faith, which helped them navigate the darkest times. His siblings often recall that faith and mutual support were essential in keeping them grounded. These lessons of resilience, kindness, and hard work became the foundation of Kenny's personality, making him not just a superstar, but a man of integrity who never forgot his roots. Kenny's musical journey began in earnest in the late 1950s, when he recorded his first solo song, That Crazy Feeling, in 1957. Though it drew attention, the buzz was short-lived. He joined several groups, including the jazz-oriented Bobby Doyle Three and the folk-oriented New Christy Minstrels, learning the ins and outs of performing and songwriting. In 1967, Kenny co-founded the band The First Edition, which gave him his first significant break. Hits like Just Dropped In, To See What Condition My Condition Was In, Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town, and Reuben James showcased his distinct voice and storytelling ability. These successes were a prelude to his solo career, which would redefine country and pop music. Yet, the path was far from smooth. By the mid-1970s, record labels often dismissed him as too old for country music, despite his undeniable talent. This rejection could have ended his career, but Kenny's determination never wavered. He performed tirelessly in small venues, honing his craft and waiting for the opportunity that would change his life. That opportunity came in the form of producer Larry Butler, who worked with Kenny to release Lucille. The song became an instant hit, winning Kenny a Grammy Award and propelling him into the spotlight as a solo artist. From there, his career flourished. Hits like Lady, written by Lionel Richie, and Islands in the Stream, a duet with Dolly Parton, reached number one on the charts and remain iconic decades later. The Gambler, released in 1978, became his signature song, inspiring television films in which Kenny played the title role. His albums, including The Gambler and Kenny, were hailed as some of the most influential country albums of all time. By the mid-1980s, he was voted favorite singer of all time by fans in polls conducted by USA Today and People magazine. Kenny was not only a musical talent, but also a savvy businessman. He co-founded Kenny Rogers Roasters with former KFC CEO John Y. Brown Jr., offering rotisserie chicken as a healthier alternative to fried food. While the U.S. locations eventually closed due to competition and lawsuits, the chain thrived in Asia, proving Kenny's influence extended beyond music. He also acted in films like Six Pack and the McShane series, showing his versatility as an entertainer. Yet, despite his achievements, Kenny faced personal struggles. He was married 5 times, experiencing heartbreak and joy in equal measure. His first marriage, to Janice Gordon, ended quickly, as did his second to Jean. His third and fourth marriages, to Margot Anderson and Marion Gordon respectively, also ended in divorce, though he remained close to his children. Kenny often reflected on his choices, admitting that his drive and focus on music sometimes came at the expense of family relationships. His 5th marriage, to Wanda Miller, brought lasting happiness, and together they had twin sons. Fatherhood brought Kenny both joy and regret. He cherished time with his younger children, but often felt he had missed too much of the lives of his older children. Kenny candidly spoke about watching his younger boys play football and feeling grateful to be present, even as he carried guilt for not being as involved with his older children. His reflections on parenting showed a man capable of self-awareness, remorse, and growth. He had learned from his mistakes and sought to make the most of the time he had with Wanda and their children. These personal moments humanize a man known to millions primarily for his music, reminding fans of behind-the-stage persona was a loving father navigating complexities of family life. Kenny's generosity extended beyond his immediate family. He was known for helping friends, neighbors, and colleagues who had once assisted him or were struggling. He remained close to Dolly Parton, sharing a bond of mutual respect and understanding forged through similar life hardships. Kenny's sister, Sandy, recalled countless stories highlighting his humility and kindness, from inviting family to concerts to letting her and her twin contribute to recording sessions. Even small, humorous moments, such as joking about royalties or drinking milk straight from a jug, reflected his down-to-earth nature. Through these anecdotes, fans could see the human side of a global superstar, a man who never forgot where he came from and always remembered the people who helped him along the way in the later years of his life. Kenny faced challenges in the changing music industry. In 2012, he sued Capitol Records over unpaid digital royalties, highlighting a widespread issue in the music business where artists were being underpaid for digital downloads and streaming. Despite decades of success, Kenny had to fight for what was rightfully his, proving that even legends were not immune to industry exploitation. Health concerns eventually forced him to retire in 2017, cutting short a farewell tour. His final years were quieter, spent with family and tending to his beloved pet goat, Smitty. These moments reflected a shift from the bright lights of stadiums to the peaceful solitude of personal fulfillment. Kenny Rogers passed away peacefully on March 20th, 2020, at the age of 81, surrounded by his wife Wanda and his children. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy lived on through his music, stories, and the countless lives he touched. Tributes poured in from friends and fellow musicians, including Lionel Richie, who honored Kenny at the 2021 Grammy Awards. Fans worldwide celebrated his life, remembering not only his songs, but also his character, generosity, and the enduring human qualities that made him beloved by millions. His family shared a heartfelt message on social media, expressing grief, gratitude, and the hope that fans will continue to honor his memory through his music. Kenny Rogers' life is a testament to the power of perseverance, empathy, and love. From humble beginnings in Houston to global stardom, from personal heartbreak to enduring friendships, his journey shows that talent alone is not enough. It must be paired with hard work, humility, and compassion. Even in his final days, Kenny remained thoughtful, kind, and grounded, reflecting on a life filled with joy, sorrow, and triumph. His music continues to inspire, and his story reminds us that behind every legend is a human being with dreams, struggles, and a heart capable of touching the world. For fans, Kenny Rogers will always represent a timeless connection between life, love, and music, a legacy that will endure forever. Kenny Rogers was born on August 21st, 1938, in Houston, Texas. He was the fourth of 8 children. His mother, Lucille, worked as a nurse's assistant, and his father, Edward, was a carpenter. Money was tight, and they lived in a government housing project meant for white families, which had displaced families of color. Even as a young boy, Kenny knew struggle. He worked odd jobs to help the family, sweeping floors in a hat shop for just $9 a week, serving as a busboy at the Rice Hotel. And yet, music was already calling him. In 1949, he won a talent show at the Texan Theater, an early sign that something bigger was coming. Life at home wasn't easy. His father struggled with alcoholism, leaving Kenny with questions he never fully understood. He avoided alcohol his entire life, fearing he might follow the same path. But despite the hardships, Kenny's family kept faith. His siblings remember how belief in each other helped them survive dark days. Even in tough times, kindness existed in their neighborhood. Years later, when Kenny became famous, he never forgot. In the 1970s, he helped a former neighbor struggling to fix her car. He didn't just give money, He changed her life, sending $20,000 along with a note. "Thank you for helping me pay my rent years ago." That was Kenny, generous, humble, and grateful. Kenny's musical past started in the late 1950s with his solo song, That Crazy Feeling. It got attention but didn't last. He joined groups like the Bobby Doyle Three and later the New Christy Minstrels, learning, performing, and refining his talent. In 1967, he co-founded the First Edition. Their hits, Just Dropped In, Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town, and Reuben James, showed the world a voice that was unmistakable. Kenny was not only talented but persistent, refusing to let setbacks define him. Even when record labels told him he was too old for country music in the mid-70s, he kept going, waiting for the opportunity that would change everything. That opportunity came with producer Larry Butler and the song Lucille. The song was a massive hit, winning Kenny his first Grammy. Suddenly, the world was listening. From there, he became a giant in both country and pop music. Hits like Lady, written by Lionel Richie, and Islands in the Stream, a duet with Dolly Parton, dominated the charts. The Gambler, released in 1978, became iconic, inspiring TV movies in which Kenny played the title role. He had more than 60 top 40 hits, and his albums are still considered some of the most influential country music of all time. Kenny didn't stop at music. He acted in movies like Six Pack, starred in TV series, and even ventured into business. He co-founded Kenny Rogers Roasters with KFC's former CEO, bringing rotisserie chicken to fans. Though the U.S. locations eventually closed, the brand thrived in Asia. He also faced battles outside the studio. In 2012, Kenny sued Capitol Records over unpaid digital royalties, a reminder that even music legends must fight for their work. Despite decades of success, he wasn't immune to the challenges of an evolving industry. Kenny's personal life was filled with love, heartbreak, and lessons learned. He married 5 times and had 5 children. His early marriages ended quickly, and even later relationships faced challenges. He once said, "Every woman I married, I really loved. I blame myself and my chosen field of music." His final marriage, to Wanda Miller, brought stability and lasting happiness. Together, they had twin sons, and Kenny devoted his later years to family, balancing the regrets of his past with the joy of being present for his youngest children. Fatherhood was both a joy and a source of reflection. Kenny loved his younger children, but felt he missed too much of the older ones' lives. He cherished small moments, like watching his boys play football or helping them through daily routines. He also used his experiences to connect with others. Having grown up with struggle and pain, he empathized with people facing hardship, whether addiction, financial difficulty, or personal loss. Kenny's music generosity and calm demeanor reflected a life shaped by understanding and compassion. Kenny's friendships were deep and meaningful. He shared a decades-long bond with Dolly Parton, forged from mutual understanding of tough beginnings. He also experienced heartbreaking loss, such as the death of musical partner Doy West. Kenny stood by Doy during hard times, offering support and friendship, and mourned her passing deeply. Even in grief, he remained humble, honoring her legacy and helping ensure she was remembered for her talent. These moments highlighted Kenny's humanity, a man who celebrated others' achievements even amid his own struggles. In his later years, Kenny found peace at his estate in Colbert, Georgia. He had a beloved pet goat named Smitty, who helped him stay calm and grounded. Health challenges eventually forced him to retire from touring in 2017. Fans worried when rumors circulated online about his condition, but the family confirmed that he was hospitalized briefly for dehydration. Yet, only 10 months later, Kenny passed away peacefully at home on March 20th, 2020, surrounded by loved ones. He was 81. Kenny's death left a void in music, but his legacy lives on. His family shared a heartfelt message, thanking fans for their support and celebrating his extraordinary life. Tributes poured in from artists worldwide, including Lionel Richie, Bruno Mars, and Dolly Parton. His songs continue to inspire new generations, keeping his memory alive through music, love, and kindness. Even in his final days, Kenny remained kind, thoughtful, and humorous, reminding fans that behind the superstar was a human being with a heart capable of touching the world. Kenny Rogers' life reminds us of the power of resilience, compassion, and persistence. From humble beginnings in Houston to global stardom, from personal heartbreak to lasting friendships, his story shows that true greatness comes not just from talent, but from Heart.so, which Kenny Rogers' song holds a special place in your heart. Share your thoughts in the comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. Even as Kenny Rogers reached the peak of his musical career, with awards, fame, and millions of fans across the world, his personal life remained complex and full of challenges. Kenny was married 5 times and had 5 children, and each relationship brought lessons, joy, and heartbreak. His first marriage, to Janice Gordon in 1958, occurred when he was very young, just 19 years old, after discovering she was pregnant with their daughter Carol Lynn. That early marriage lasted only 2 years, ending in 1960, and marked the first of several unions that would end in divorce. Months later, Kenny married his second wife, Jean, but that marriage also ended quickly, lasting only until 1963. In 1964, he married Margot Anderson, with whom he had 1 child. This marriage lasted longer, until 1975, but eventually ended in separation, leaving Kenny to reflect on the cost of chasing his career while trying to maintain family life. His 4th marriage, to actress Marianne Gordon in 1977, brought him a son, Christopher, and was more enduring than the earlier unions, yet it too ended in divorce in 1993. Finally, in 1997, he married Wanda Miller, who would become his soulmate, giving him twin sons and providing the stability and support he had long sought. Despite the love he had for each of his wives, Kenny candidly admitted in his 2012 autobiography, Luck or Something Like It, that his choices and focus on music often contributed to the failure of his marriages. He reflected honestly, saying, "Every woman I married, I really loved when I married her, and I don't blame them for marriage falling apart. I blame myself and my chosen field of music." His words reveal a man who understood his faults and sacrifices that fame required, yet also carried the weight of regret for time lost with his children. With his first daughter, Carol Lynn, he stepped back after the divorce so as not to interfere with her bond with her stepfather, and with his son, Kenny Rogers Jr., the relationship was difficult at times. By contrast, with his younger children, particularly the twin boys from his final marriage, Kenny dedicated himself fully to their upbringing, attending their games, sharing everyday moments, and finding joy in being present for milestones